Karen robbed a blind veteran, didn't know his nephew was a live news anchor. What kind of person preys on a blind veteran's livelihood and thinks they'll walk away unscathed? In the quiet town of Millview, Karen Mitchell thought she'd found an easy target in Eddie Voss, a 68-year-old veteran who ran a small convenience store. Blinded in combat decades ago, Eddie poured his heart into his shop, a haven for locals and a symbol of his resilience. But Karen, a self-entitled regular with a knack for complaints, saw his vulnerability as her opportunity. One humid summer evening, she crossed a line no one expected, sparking a chain of events that would unravel her world and inspire community. Eddie's store wasn't just a business, it was his legacy. Locals knew him for his warm smile and stories of courage, shared over the counter as he rang up their purchases by feel. The shop's donation jar, meant for veterans' charities, was his pridea, clinking testament to his service. Karen, though, had a grudge. She'd long complained about Eddie's slow service or overpriced goods, ignoring his disability and the store's purpose. Her resentment boiled over when Eddie, politely but firmly, asked her not to haggle over a $2 discount on expired coupons. Humiliated in front of other customers, Karen vowed revenge. That night, she crept back to the store, armed with a plan to ruin him. She didn't just steal the donation jar's contents, she trashed the place, smashing jars, defacing walls with spray paint, and leaving cruel notes mocking Eddie's blindness. Her act wasn't just theft, it was a calculated assault on his dignity. The truth began to surface the next morning when Eddie arrived, his cane tapping through the wreckage. Glass crunched underfoot, and the acrid smell of paint stung his nose. His hand shook as he traced the jagged edges of his broken counter, piecing together the devastation. Neighbors rallied around him, their whispers of outrage spreading like wildfire. Among them was Maria, a quiet cashier who'd worked for Eddie for years. She'd seen Karen's tantrums before, but never imagined this. Unknown to Karen, Maria had a secret. She'd installed a small security camera months earlier after petty thefts. The grainy footage captured Karen's face, smug and unapologetic, as she pocketed the charity money and scrawled her hateful words. Maria hesitated, knowing the footage would destroy Karen, but Eddie's quiet sobs pushed her to act. She sent the video to the one person she knew could amplify the truth, Ethan Voss, Eddie's nephew and a rising star anchor at Channel 7 News. Ethan was live on air, reporting on a local festival, when Maria's message pinged his phone. His polished demeanor faltered as he watched the footage during a break. His uncle, the man who'd raised him after his parents died, was under attack. Ethan's shock turned to fury, but he saw an opportunity. He scrapped the festival segment and, with his producer's reluctant nod, went live from Eddie's store. The broadcast was raw, unscripted. Ethan's voice cracked as he narrated the footage, showing Karen's rampage to thousands. "This is personal," he said, holding up a photo of him and Eddie from years ago. "This man gave everything for us, and this is how he's repaid." The town watched, transfixed, as social media exploded. Karen, at home sipping coffee, froze when her phone lit up with notifications. Her face was everywhere. The confrontation came swiftly, and it was electric. Karen, cornered by her own arrogance, showed up at the store that afternoon, claiming she was misunderstood. A crowd had gathered, phones out, live streaming her every word. Ethan, still in his news jacket, stood beside Eddie, who clutched his cane like a lifeline. Karen's excuses were flimsy. She blamed stress, called the vandalism a prank, and even tried to paint Eddie as the villain for provoking her. The crowd wasn't having it. Maria stepped forward, her voice steady but blazing, revealing another twist. Karen had been skimming from the donation jar for months, small thefts she thought no one noticed. The revelation hit like a thunderclap. Karen's face drained of color as murmurs turned to shouts. Ethan, microphone in hand, pressed her. "You targeted a blind veteran. What's your defense?" Karen stammered, her defiance crumbling under the weight of her own lies. The crowd's boos drowned her out, and police sirens wailed in the distance. Karen's downfall was as swift as it was brutal. The footage, now viral, painted her as the town pariah. Businesses banned her, neighbors shunned her, and her employer, a local real estate firm, fired her after clients threatened to boycott. The legal consequences were harsher. Charges of theft, vandalism, and harassment piled up, with the stolen charity funds adding a felony count. But it was the personal toll that stung most. Karen's own daughter, estranged for years, posted online, calling her mother's actions unforgivable. The community didn't just condemn Karen, they rebuilt Eddie's store. Volunteers painted over her graffiti, replaced the jars, and raised thousands online to keep the shop afloat. Eddie, though shaken, found strength in their support. "I didn't fight for this country to let one person break me," he told Ethan, his voice steady for the first time in days. In the end, Eddie's store shone brighter than ever, its shelves restocked, its walls adorned with thank you notes from strangers. Ethan's broadcast won awards, but he cared more about his uncle's smile. Karen, meanwhile, faded into obscurity, her name a cautionary tale whispered in Millview's cafes. The story wasn't just about her fallout, it was about a community rising, about resilience outshining cruelty. Eddie's shop became a symbol, proof that even the darkest acts can spark light. What do you think? Can one person's malice outweigh a community's heart? Or is justice always louder? Share your thoughts below.